This is where I always wanted to play because as a kid I was a Dodger fan and I always had my radio listening to Vin Scully and really sort of imagining myself one day playing in Dodger Stadium.
Today, we celebrate the storied career and enduring Dodger legacy of Johnny B. Baker, universally known in the baseball world as Dusty. As a youngster growing up in Riverside, the thought of playing at Dodger Stadium was an early dream as he followed the local team during the early 1960s. His favorite player was Tommy Davis, the two-time National League batting champion whose primary position was left field. Little did Baker realize that one day he would not only play the same position as Davis at Dodger Stadium, but he would also inherit his hero's uniform number 12. After beginning his major league career with the Atlanta Braves, a trade to Los Angeles after the 1975 season brought Dusty home to Dodger Stadium. The left field pavilion at Dodger Stadium became Baker's Field. It didn't take long for Baker to become a fan favorite in Southern California. When he trotted to the outfield before games, the patrons tossed packs of chewing gum, and Baker signaled a wave of appreciation.
He fit in like he'd been here all along. Dusty's the type of player that played hard, knew how to play the game, was going to play it right, and he was going to do what he could do for the betterment of this ball club.
He really was one of the first guys I saw that kind of owned that area where he played out in left field. That was Bakersfield, and you could see it.
An injury-filled 1976 season burst his bubble, but his fans kept their unwavering support. So did his new manager, Tommy Lasorda, who announced at the start of spring training in 1977 that Baker was his left fielder, despite only hitting 4 home runs in 1976. Both the Dodgers and their fans celebrated a healthy Baker's comeback that allowed the Big Blue Wrecking Crew to regain control of the National League West standings. On the final day of the 1977 regular season, Baker homered against intimidating Houston Astros ace J.R. Richard, making the Dodgers the first team in Major League history to have 4 players to each hit at least 30 home runs in the same season: Baker, Reggie Smith, Ron Cey, and Steve Garvey.
I said, look, Dusty, I know you're going to hit 30 because God would not make you hit 29 and then not hit the 30. If God didn't want you to hit the 30, he would have made you stop on the last day at 27. That's how I felt.
But Baker reserved his biggest clout of 1977 the following week in the National League Championship Series. After losing the opener of a best-of-5 series, the Dodgers were desperate for a victory before the scene shifted to Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. Baker's 4th-inning grand slam sparked the Dodgers to a 7-1 victory.
Hit well to left field. Grand slam home run, Dusty Baker.
Los Angeles eventually won the pennant in 4 games, and Baker became the first most valuable player of a National League Championship Series.
Well, when Dusty came into the locker room, you knew it. He was all business as far as playing baseball and wanting to win. He just loved his job. He loved what he did. He loved playing the game. And all that energy was something that we could all feel.
Baker, in 1977, would make the first of 3 World Series appearances with the Dodgers during a 5-year period, all against the New York Yankees. During that era, Baker remained a key member in both the starting lineup and in the clubhouse. The all-star left fielder won both Gold Glove and Silver Slugger honors while providing veteran leadership.
My first time we traveled, back in the day in 77 when you traveled in suits, you wore a tie and slacks. And I come to the big leagues, I didn't have any of that. We went to Atlanta, and Dusty took me to a place in Atlanta, bought my first suit, bought my first pair of animal shoes, alligators, I remember them, and a belt. And from that point on, he helped me to learn how to dress at the major league level, but it was Dusty that took me on a shopping spree. I will always remember that.
Although Los Angeles suffered consecutive postseason heartbreaks in 1977 and 1978 against the Yankees, the Dodgers' quest for a championship finally succeeded in 1981. Baker and his teammates could finally pop the champagne after winning the 1981 World Series at Yankee Stadium. Baker left the Dodgers after the 1983 season, but he remained a familiar face in Southern California, whether as an opposing player or during his 26-year managerial career.
Being young and 21, 22 when I was coming up, he just was there to support, to try to help, nurture my career from the beginning. And he did the same when I was done playing, and trying to, nurture me in my transition from playing and encourage me to get into coaching and stay involved in baseball. And a lot of where I've been in my career is because I was fortunate to play for Dusty.
Nearly a half-century after he first donned the Los Angeles Dodgers uniform, the former outfielder returns among the legends of Dodger baseball. Welcome home, Dusty.